India has got so many new golfers now. You think the young contingent is looking pretty strong with an eye on Olympics?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's getting younger. They're coming out more ready, more hungry. I mean, you have, guys like Anirban, Gaganjeet and Himmat, have already won on the Asian Tour at a very young age. And I think that's looking very, very good for golf.
Yeah.
Olympics is about 4 or 5 years away. And, maybe the guys we haven't even heard of yet are going to come through. It's not going to be the Jeeves and the Jyotis and the Arjuns.
Yeah.
Not that they'd agree with me. I think they still think they can play till they're 50.
The expectation is pretty high. I mean, at the end of the day, there are names that are sort of making the golf circuit overseas.
Yeah, it's going to be good. I think, in 5-10 years from now, there's a good chance, Indians will be contending for majors. I think the Olympics is coming at the right time. So hopefully, the government will step up and look at that and, we can get those public driving ranges and those public golf courses that we need to, really grow the game, because people are all over the world. I mean, Keith Waters and all the people that are in charge of the European Tour, they're like, you come from a country of 1 billion people. Why is the game... I mean, we've got a European Tour event in India. Potentially, we're going to have 2 or 3.
Yeah.
But,
because everyone's so hungry for the Indian market. The size is so crazy. The sudden depth of golf in America is getting people to look at this. Top 10 on the PGA, 1 American. Yeah. What a great story for India and China to catch on.
Yeah, I mean, China is sort of cashing in on that. China's building 100 new golf courses in the next 2 months. I mean, they're building every day a new golf course comes up in China.
Yeah.
They've got these programs in there. They've got coaching programs with all the best coaches in the world for the juniors. So,
and to think of it, India has got nearly a 150-year-old history in golf, and China has a 3-decade-old history in golf. I mean, this is just amazing. It tells you the power of mechanized moves.
Plus, also, I think it's a vision. Anything that China takes on, whether it be gymnastics or it be swimming or it be any of the things they do, they really take it seriously. And I think we guys are a bit lazy like that. We're more laid back. Indians are, and nothing wrong with that. But I think when you're trying to produce world champions in sport, you've got to be a bit more proactive.
Learn from golfers like you, and I guess when people like us are playing with you, every moment we're looking at how do you hold your club, how do you keep your stance. Give our viewers a few ideas of how to keep the ball up on the fairway.
Well, I think the most common mistakes that I see, and everyone goes to the driving range and starts working on their swings, most of the time it's not the swing, it's the setup. The most important thing in golf is the setup, and we were discussing that earlier, is 90% of your mistakes are caused in your basics, your setup, your grip, your posture. So if you can get the right setup, you're going to, all the swings, you see the funny swings going left and right, a lot of them are caused by, aiming a long way offline. So if you can get your alignment and your setup in the right place, you're going to solve most of your problems.
Okay, so we'll put that idea to test, since I am now going to have to use a 9-iron, and I completely am terrified of my iron. So we're going to put that to test.
We'll sort that out. Now you're bending your knees too much and not... Yeah. What you're doing right now is from there, you're doing this. So you need to bend from your waist, like sort of sticking more. Yeah. So try and feel like you're a little bit sort of like you're tipping over, falling over on this side. You're sitting back right now. So when you sit back, what had happened, you change your center. Your center is on the ball, but when you go back, it's very tough to get back to the ball square. So if with your irons, I would presume you'd hit them a little low to the right. Ball position more in the center. A little bit more athletic in your posture. Yeah, not to hunt. Good. And now you can hit that.
Who has been your favorite golfing partner?
The one that really springs to mind is Fred Couples, because he was my idol growing up. Stayed up all those nights watching him win the Masters and all of that. And then I was a 24-year-old, and I get paired with Fred Couples in the Johnny Walker Classic, and I didn't sleep the night before thinking about it. And it was really, really exciting. And he was such a relaxed guy, such a nice guy. Came and put his arm around me and said, "Great to meet you," and said all these nice things to me after the round. And it made my head really swell up that Fred Couples said I'm a great player, and all of that. So he's one that I really, really enjoyed playing with. And obviously on the European Tour, I've played with a lot of guys, and the guys that I really enjoy playing with are, people that are not very intense. So, it's not all about just golf, live the good life, have a bottle of wine in the evening and, go out and have a few beers. So, Ernie Els and Lee Westwood, Darren Clark, they're all, a bit like that.
Easy guys.
Yeah, easygoing guys. Yeah.
So that's what takes me to the whole issue, right? The world says that golf is the stiff upper lip game, but it can't be played well without being nice and easy.
Yeah, it's got this tag of being a posh man's game and, rich man's game and, all of that. But
With
really
many
isn't.
poor players all the same.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, a lot of the great stories you've seen, like Sevi Ballesteros and, Vijay Singh and all of them, they've come from, really nothing. They had one club on the beach and, it was pure hard work and pure determination. And, I think the biggest challenge with golf is you're hitting a stationary ball.
Yeah.
Most other sports, it's a reflex action. And golf here, you're in control, which sometimes is the most difficult thing. But definitely not a stiff upper lip game from what I've seen over the experiences I've had.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, because India and the government sometimes likes to believe is such an elite game that they would like to keep a good arm's length distance. You were talking about some of these players, and you mentioned you're not so fond of the cold golf game, but it's become so popular suddenly. Go clinical, go cold, see if you can win. That's the game that people are chasing these days.
Yeah, I think it's in everything. It's in, everything's becoming more professional. I think if you talk to the pros from, 30, 40 years ago, no one used to go to the gym. No one used to really practice after their rounds. The 19th hole was the bar, and that was where everyone sort of, gathered after their rounds. But now it's becoming a lot more professional. Everyone travels with their fitness trainers and their physios and psychologists and coaches. And, you sort of get sucked into that. I have my coach traveling with me, But if I go out with my coach in the evening, we go and have a beer and, we chill and we relax and we talk about a lot of things other than golf.
Yeah.
And, I think it's to each his own. It's obviously becoming more competitive, so you have to become more professional and sort of, try and compete and, with everyone else. But at the same time, I think, you do your work at golf, and when you get off the golf course, there's enough time for other things.
Let me take you to the business world, since you sort of play with them often. You're well known to the Munjals and many others. What do you learn from these guys? Do you learn something from them?
A lot. So Gautam Thapar was, my sponsor for a few years, and, I have a lot of respect for him. I've learned a lot of things, especially like time management. He's running 6 or 7 companies, and he still has time to, call me into his office and chat for an hour and talk about my golf game and how I can improve. And, the discipline. I mean, till date, he wakes up in the morning and goes to the gym. He doesn't need to be fit in his, and Mr. Munjal is the same, He'll fly to Dubai and come and play a pro-am with me and then fly to his next board meeting. So I think the biggest thing you learn from, these great business tycoons is that they know how to manage their time. And, you've got 24 hours in a day and they'll maximize that. And I think that's what I've learned. When I initially came out, everything was just golf, golf and golf. Wake up, eat, sleep, breathe, golf. I'm not going to say it's changed dramatically, but, for me now, it's like the daylight hours of a golf. I wake up early, I come to the golf course, and when it's dark, sundown, it's time to have a bit of fun. So you've got to sort of balance it, and I think that's what you learn is there's a balance. They delegate things. I've learned to delegate things. We have management companies, and your manager does, things for you on the side. My job's to play golf, and then when I'm not playing golf, is to totally relax. I've always been one of those that's sort of looked ahead and planned ahead, and I guess if I wasn't a golfer, I would have probably been an investment banker. That's what I really wanted to do.
Today's tip is going to be more on how we would play a shot off the tee and what would be the best way to actually approach the shot.